Howdy folks, this is the Novice, back with another video for you. So I am in a little ship that Kaveen put together. It's called the Short Bus, and it's just a disposable ship. You notice that I've got a red HUD here, which means I'm in PvP space. And the reason I'm in PvP space is because I'm headed to Teoma. I will go through some of the things to show you guys how I got here or how I'm getting here and everything that's going on. Right now I'm going through my interplanetary helper on the left because I put in my location as a temp location. There it is right there. I'll show you guys how to do that sometime as far as the autopilot goes. But right now I'm just aiming to a spot manually, not at Teoma, but near it. And there's a reason why. I'm in PvP space. There are people that wait to kill people in PvP space, but PvP space is big. You're not gonna catch everybody just way out here unless you get ignorant of how the things are set up and how the rules are set up and where people wait for you. So that's what I'm going to show you today, is how to avoid being killed in PvP space, or at least how to reduce the chances of being killed. I mean, there's no guarantees ever. You could just get unlucky and run across somebody doing the same route as you. And when a PvPer finds you, even if you're going fast and they're going like crosswise to you, they can still relay that information to have other people waiting ahead of you, especially if they have a warp drive. So it is very hard. There are ways they can use your trajectory and find you and get ahead of you, and it is very difficult once a big group finds you to evade and escape, although it can happen. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that. So let's talk about traveling from other planets. I kind of drew a cartoon picture here. So up here we have Alioth. And we have a big safe zone around Alioth and its moons, and let's say Mattis and the other planets, Thades, that are in the safe zone all fit within this. So this is not to scale by any means. But what I want to talk about is when you go between the planets, there's a pipe. Okay, the pipe is that immediate zone from planet to planet. And there's one for everything. There's one for every moon. So there's a whole bunch of pipes going out there. Let's look real quick. If you look right over here on the right of my screen, you'll say PvP boundary is 132 SU. So it's 132 SU to the PvP boundary, 134 to the planet. So there's about a 2 SU boundary around the outer planets, roughly 2.5, something like that. But if you look under that, it says pipe between Teoma and Alioth is 15.79 SU away from me, and it's over there off on my left, right? So if I was to look over here, the pipe would be over here. You can't see it. It's not anything that you can see, but what I'm trying to do is stay out of the pipe. So let's go back to the picture. The reason why, if I'm going to Teoma and I leave Alioth and I just fly straight to Teoma, I'm going through what we call the pipe between those two planets. If I'm in that pipe, the PvPers wait where the PvP zone starts around the safe zone from Alioth, and they wait around the safe zones to these outer planets. There's only two right now, Jago and Teoma, and this is not to scale because Jago is about twice as far away from Alioth as Teoma is, so this is actually almost opposite of scale, but I'm just doing this to try to get the point across, right? So these PvP danger zones are right here, right? So what I'm doing is I'm avoiding those danger zones by leaving Alioth. I look and see where Teoma is. I mark it as my waypoint, and I go, oh, it's right there. So I just look, 90 degrees away from it. Doesn't matter, up, down, whatever. And I fly out, 15, 20. In this case, I flew 30 SU, only because I wasn't paying attention and I forgot that I was flying and I got a little far out there, but that's fine. So what you do is you get out here and you stop and you travel. You kind of put your waypoint. Let me show you. You kind of manually line yourself up to where you're not pointing at the planet, right? I could use my autopilot hit Alt 4, and it would actually put me pointed right towards the planet, right? But then I might hit that box coming in, and I don't want to do that. I actually want to get adjacent to the planet and then head towards it, right? So that's what I got in the picture here. I'm going to go out, go along the pipe right now, 15 or so SU out, which is what it shows that I am. I'm at 15.23 SU out. I'm actually getting closer, so I'm actually pointed a little bit in towards the planet more than I want. So I'll move it out just a little bit. I'm actually speeding up right now, and I'm actually going to go ahead and shut my speed off. I'm actually 127 SU away, 41 minutes. You're not going to sit on the whole video and watch me travel out there. I'm not going to do that. So let's say I'm about right here, right? So when I get out to somewhere around here, I'll head in. Now, I could do it here and head in because I'd still miss the box, right? But if I just went out to here and I headed in to the planet, I would still go through that box a little bit, right? That PvP box there where the pipe is, where they can be looking for me, right? I don't want to do that. So is it a foolproof method to not get killed? No. There are several things that can be done, right? But if I go out 15, 20, 30 SU, travel along the pipe, along the path, and then travel back to Teoma when I get, adjacent to it, or even come from the backside, they'll never expect that. But the problem is you could get into another pipe. For example, let's say I did this. Let's say I didn't go on this side, I went on this side. If I went this way and went out, I would actually be in the pipe to Jago, right? So what you have to do is you have to use a HUD like I am, well, which is Arch HUD in this case, that tells you how far away you are from the pipe. Saga HUD works good too, and I'm sure there's other HUDs out there that will give you your distance from the pipe. And you notice I'm getting closer to the pipe, but that's okay. I'm not going to get too close, I don't think. We'll actually point out a little bit. Yeah, I'm not gonna. But anyway, we're gonna be fine. So as long as I don't go straight down the pipe, or I don't accidentally fly into another PvP pipe while I'm trying to get to out here, I'll be fine. So I could go this way, I could go up, I could go down, I could go anyway. So what do I have to watch for, right? So if I'm taking off from a planet and I'm carrying packages, there's only certain places you pick up packages. Guess what the PvPers do? They sit there and wait for people to pick up packages, and when you take off, guess what they do? They follow you. So you should never, ever say, I'm turning 90 degrees and I'm going to go out 15 SU and just fly a straight line, because guess what? They're going to be putting somebody in front of you, or they're going to be following you, one or the other. So what you need to do is you need to take off and maybe skim around the atmosphere like you're going to another spot on the planet or something, and then randomly go somewhere else, or go towards one of the moons. If you're on like Teoma or Mattis or Alioth, go towards one of the moons, and then partway there just change your trajectory and then fly your tangent away from the pipe, right? So that's what you can do. And what I do is I pick the planet here, and I just literally go, oh, I'm on that way. Going that way. I'm going that way. I'm going that way. I'm going that way. I'm going that way. Whatever, as long as it's, away from that, right? So I need to go kind of 90 degrees away from it. So, just don't be predictable, and that will help you not get killed. All right. Now watch, I'll probably get killed in this video and it'll totally ruin it. But anyway, so we're traveling along here, and when I get to the other end, like I said, we're going to stop and we're going to travel in. Let me get that back to the right size. So these are the main areas where people can park. Can they accidentally intercept me if I'm over here coming in? Yeah, they could be coming back from an asteroid out here, and I could just happen to be right on their path, right? You can't predict stuff like that, right? All I can do is say, try to get out of the pipe, travel along the pipe, and then come back in. That's the best I can do. Okay, so that's going to be your best bet when you're traveling out. Also, don't take an expensive ship. Don't go buy the $15 million anti-gravity ship and take it out to the other planets when you can put together a really cheap ship like this one. I think Kaveen threw this together in about 30 minutes. And it's just made with parts that we had making in the factory and laying around. So it is not an expensive ship. It doesn't have great space brakes on it. But you know, I have this alt. Oh, and that's another point. Why am I going to Teoma? Well, some of us play with more than one character. They call them alts, right? And so I have a character on Teoma. I have a character on Jago, and they're both scanning and building factories. I'm setting up fuel stations, and I found tier 3 and tier 4 on Teoma, and I used all my territory pins to pin those units. And so I only have one left. So in my inventory here, I am taking out some more pins, right? I have one, so I'm taking 6 more because I didn't find tier 2 that I'm looking for, the natron. So I'm looking for some good natron tiles, and I want to pin a whole bloom, which is 7. So I have one on the planet, so I'm bringing 6 more, and I'm bringing another scanner and a couple of industry pieces of equipment to help me get set up there and produce more fuel, and of course some spare fuel in case I need to fuel up the ship. But I've got it 52%. I'm not probably going to need to fuel up. So I'm going to start up another video when I get to the planet, and I'll let you guys see me do the final approach and everything, and I'll show you where we're kind of set up. It's kind of funny because I was scanning across Teoma and scanning, and I found some tier 4 tiles. I found 3 of them that were producing heavily enough that I wanted to pin them, so I pinned them. But before that, I was scanning, and I scanned almost all the circumference of the planet. I scanned and scanned and scanned every 4 tiles. Scan, skip 2, scan, scan, skip 2, scan. I was scanning my butt off. And I found some tier 3 literally near one of the markets. I'm like, why? I said, I've been all the way around this friggin' planet almost, and I find pedalite right by the friggin' market, like close, within 15 kilometers. And so I'm like, I'm scanning here. Somebody's going to see me scanning, and it's going to come over here and go, what's that guy doing? And I had found it, and I was homing in on the best tiles, and I was scanning my next to last tile, and some wise guy came and did a flyby of my ship while I was scanning. Yeah, you know what happens when somebody does a flyby of your ship while you're scanning? The fields interact, and it makes your scanner stop and resets it. That's a nasty thing to do to people, but there's no rule against it, right? So I said, screw this. I know where the center tile is. I know the ones around it are good. I'm almost done scanning. Screw this. I'm going to start pinning. So I started pinning. Boom, 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 boom. Well, that guy stole one of my tiles right from under me. Well, he didn't steal it. He pinned it before I got to it. So technically, he didn't steal it. He just got to it first. But he saw what I was doing, and he took one of the tiles. So I don't have quite a flower. I've got kind of an odd flower. I still have 7 tiles, but they're not exactly in a flower shape. I have almost a full flower, but he took one of my petals, so I took another petal further out that was a good tile too. So I have petalite, which is one of the tier 3s, and it's 7 tiles, and they produce pretty decent. So I was happy with that. We found some tier 4 on Jago too. One of the other guys, not me. But I had an alt in his ship and was out there, and I'm actually setting up a factory out there, fuel station, because I don't like buying fuel when you can just make it. And so we're trying to set up a fuel station, and at some point when we get self-sufficient enough, we're going to set it up so that Chimera members will be able to stop and buy fuel there. Since you have to surface mine on those outer planets, they only have 2 of the tier 1 ores, so you have to really surface mine. And they've got 2 tier 2 ores on the surface. What we're going to do is put a drop box there and say, hey, come buy some fuel, drop some tier 2 in the box if you can, just to keep us going. And that way we'll be able to keep ahead of the fuel usage and have fuel to sell as cheap as we can to the members out there. You know, drop some tier 2 or drop a fuel schematic or two, you know, whatever, or just buy it. But at some point, you know, we want to help out people, and we're going to get there as soon as we can. But you know, it's going to take a little bit of time. So anyway, this has been kind of a neat little video, because I don't know if some of you knew how dangerous it was to travel in PvP space from place to place. Some of you may have found out the hard way. This is not a foolproof method of getting there, but it's pretty decent. You know, it's not too bad. I, knock on wood, have not been killed doing this. A buddy of mine that went straight out got followed and almost got killed. I was on the ship and managed to repair it, and we got back into safe zone before they managed to take us out. That was in beta back in the day. That was a hilariously fun experience. Repairing the ship as it's getting blown up around me was a real blast, and that's no pun intended. So, but I don't want to do that again. That was enough. One time was enough. So, so now I'm moving closer and closer to the pipe 10.2 SU. But by the time I get to the planet, I'm going to be still outside of the pipe, the scanning range from that red box that I drew earlier. So everything should be good to go. So anyway, I'll pick back up whenever we get near the planet. Going to make a series of videos talking about setting up on Teoma and setting up on Jago and scanning both of those. And I'm actually going to put this second scanner on my ship, and I'll show you how to use 2 scanners. And so it should be a pretty informative series for you, and it'll just be called Jago and Teoma, the Outer Planets, and there'll be several videos there just to try to help you guys out just a little bit. So been working a lot, so I haven't been making a lot of videos. Been playing some too, but you know, these early stages of the game, it just takes so much work to get going. I hope to do more videos in the future here, try to get out more per week if I can than just 1 or 2, and we'll see you guys around the block, and gonna call it at that.